What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games B.S. brought to you by MFTKFoundation.com. Can we well, the tailgate of all tailgates is sponsored by the MFTKFoundation.com as well. The Miami tailgate. Jaden, can you pull up, or somebody pull up my it should be one of my top tweets. Actually, you know what? I'm saying all that. I could just send it to you. Sometimes people be cutting up, man. Had a dude ready to fight from a tailgate invite. And normally I don't jump into business that isn't mine. But I'm sending this to you, Jaden. But the guy in question was battling with Dontavius Jackson, former Seminole. I have one of my teammates, Travis, has a lot to say about Dontavius, but not just in a fraternal world of Seminoles, right? So, but it's kind of one of those things where we can talk about him, but you can't. And he was just talking about stuff, and this guy, he clearly he works out. And he put up, and he did the most corny thing that you could do to somebody who played at the level in which that you could never even dream of. They pulled up the box scores. Like people would tell me, you didn't really, you only had so many yards rushing. Bitch, I was a fucking fullback. What do you expect? I have never gone around acting like I was 1,000-yard rusher. I hit people. I think I had 1 year where I might have had close to 200, and that's a hell of a year. I scored touchdowns and I hit people. That's it. But he talked about, he put my dog stats up there, and he was like, really? And then Dontavius went in there and did some other stuff, and then people were like, you're going to show your stats. But just put the my quote tweet up. All I did was, because I told him he was losing. It's a Jamie Foxx skit. Played it. If you've never seen this, I think it was a roast of Emmitt Smith. And this guy, Jamie Foxx, ended this guy's career before it even started. So just push play. This is what I was telling him he's basically doing on social media. Just click on the video, not the link yet.
Just did another joke that didn't go over. I'm your conscience.
Imagine you're at a roast.
Another joke that didn't go over.
And one of the best comedians over there roasting.
I'm your conscience.
He jokes. He did it for 8 minutes.
I feel like I saw a documentary where this guy was.
The guy was really
he messed him up.
He really messed Jamie Foxx. But I have never listened to the full time. He came at Jamie first, and this is Jamie, and it looks older than what it is. That does that look like it was 2000s? That great. That was, he said, Jamie just finally did 2 blockbuster films. He just did Ali. And I'm like, wow, Ali came out in 2000. Is that what our video looks like? But anyways, the Ticket Taylor link is on there. I invited the young man, said, hey, come to the tailgate. And then he gives me a paragraph. And I'm like, hey, man. He said, ain't shit gonna happen to me at the tailgate. I said, brother, I just invited you to a paid tailgate. Ain't anybody gonna fuck you up unless you come in with some dumb shit.
Oh, he thought it was
meet me at the over somebody else's stats.
Yeah.
You weren't even talking about mine. But even if you were talking about mine, it's just I'm like, okay, whatever, dog. 20 years ago, man. I'm not scoring another touchdown. But number one priority, I need you guys to do this. Listen, I need you to buy tickets. And the reason why I need you to buy tickets is because it's hard to set up this shit without buying tickets. We're going to have our food, talk with Cheese, talk with Peachy Bros. We're going to do our Thug Dizzle. We're going to get our stuff going. We need you guys to do this to support another win. The more people at the tailgate, the more likely we're going to win. So we have to get this done. We have to get active. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll have TVs at the tailgates because I do already know these tickets going for you got to have an active OnlyFans account to afford these tickets at this juncture. So come on out, hang out, have a good time. All you can eat, all you can drink. Cigars will be on deck. Beautiful people will be around. Just love the tailgates. Former Knowles, probably some former Canes going to be there as well. We will make sure that this is a good time to be had it up by all. If you do not drink and you have a child, we do have youth fees. It's not that you just have to tell me, and we'll make sure the Jits get what they need to get. But outside of that, we're going to start our show off the way that we needed this guy. I needed this man on Friday night. We clearly did not pray like this. Or maybe this is why Hawaii is not as great as we need, but like we didn't have this kind of energy in the prayer on Friday night. So let's start off with this word of prayer so we can get on the right track.
You already know what time it is, dog. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God. God is great. All the time. All the time. Nobody wanna thank you, God. Thank you, God. Go.
Hey, what we got going on, Jaden?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning edition of Big Games B.S. here on Monday, September 22nd. This is your first time at the show. Welcome. And it's called Big Games B.S. because we bring the good, the bad, and the BS of the sports world, especially football, to your screens, eyes, and ears. We'd like to start off our show with the inaugural MFTK segment for you guys. We're going to talk about or touch up on the Mandarin versus IMG football game that occurred on Friday night before transitioning into some college football talk. Gonna mention FSU's blowout win over Kent State at home. Then we're going to talk about the Seminole program before getting to the new AP Top 25 poll. Talk about some notable games this weekend, and we're going to shout out a couple more players and coaches. Before heading into our NFL segment, didn't have a show on Friday, so we're going to quickly recap the Thursday night football game between the Bills and the Dolphins at Buffalo before getting into Sunday's slate of games. And then we're going to talk about the Jaguars getting a W against the AFC South opponent, Houston Texans. Going to talk about some more teams and players as well before getting into our Big Games BS section, where we bring the scope of the conversation outside the typical football world. Going to start this section with our BS or bussin' topic. We're going to rate, James is going to rate a food item, either BS or bussin'. Then we got some baseball to talk about, basketball, and some music as well. But first things first, score isn't pretty, man. 55-7. Caught some of the live stream online on YouTube. Check out the Mandarin U live stream on their media group. But man, James, quickly turn off the live stream because wasn't good.
Got out of hand really quick. They're just. I'm gonna give you guys a bar, and this is how I'm gonna live my life coaching sports from now on. Capitalism does a great job of making sure everything is profitable and everything that you could do needs to turn into a business. And you can have fun. Winning is fun, right? Mandarin is trying, and Mandarin, Reigns and Bowles and some other schools here are trying to become programs that everybody wants to go to, that everybody gets a chance to go to college and experience their dreams and play at a high level. IMG is what a real national program is like. And though it got out of hand, I hope everybody didn't turn the stream off until after why do I feel like, how did they score 5 points? Was it 40? I thought it was 50 to 7.5. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyways, that's irrelevant. But we started off the second half with a fucking onside kick, and we drove down the fucking field. And we should have been 2 scores. We should have scored on that drive, but we ended up not. We threw an interception in the back of the end zone. But them boys went out there and fought. But my boy Kareem Birch came, and we sat on the porch. He coaches DBs at IMG. We sat on the porch. We had a cigar, and we drank. Instead of going out, we had fellowship. I told him, man, come here. I got better liquor on my porch, and better liquor in my house, and better cigars than they have at that place. And it's going to be free. He hit me with this bar, and it changed the way I thought. Like, said, James, we have 50. There's 54 varsity players on IMG. They have 54 football players. 54 football players. Everybody on that roster is there because they're a football player. We have 65 people on our roster. We don't have 54 football players. We have we're really good where we're really good at, but they've got enough to negate what we're really good at. We have so where we'll never see this level of talent again. We'll see good teams, but we'll never see this level of talent again. You're talking about an entire offense. The number 1 defensive end in the nation, number 88, was going up against KJ, who I gotta ask. I think KJ went on an official visit to Presbyterian. They're not in the same weight class. Not in the same weight class. And then Sam would like to play football, is a good high school football player. He ain't the number 1 DN in the nation, though.
Right.
And they actually held their own. Where we got worked, our guards. And to their, like, we have one that's banged up and one that just kind of replaced our starter. We lost our starting guard 2 weeks ago. And I ain't gonna lie to you, their best players are their D tackles. Their D tackles made our life a living hell. It's very more like they were strong, they were shooting gaps, they were doing stuff. Their DBs, number 12. If you're playing IMG, if you can get the number 12, that's the weak sauce. We missed our opportunities. When you're playing a team like IMG, they're already better than you. You can't make mistakes because then it ends up compounding. So even the interception, Quez was trying to do too much. Quez should have just let the ball drop. Should have just dropped the ball and let us punt it. But instead, he's trying to catch it. It was in front of him slightly, and he basically tips it to them, like not tips, he underhand tosses it to the damn DB for an interception. They get like 1st and 10 from our 20. So that wasn't a good way to start the game. We just, again, like they were good. Their running back is not stellar. He is a big kid who runs his feet very well and just always falls for it. Always falls for it. Their tight end is pretty good at IMG. He looks good. Their guards are good. Like we have a kid, Kendrick, that will be a top prospect for Mandarin at D tackle. He's a junior, and he won some battles, but I call it slow dancing. If you want to know what it looks like when a D tackle or a lineman is in hell, it looks like they doing junior high prom slow dancing. Them boys are just caught up, and you go this way, and you go that way, and you go this way. And I was just like, fight, Kendrick, no! Say, don't let him do it to you. But they did it. They did it to him, and just, I want to put this out there, though. I want you guys to listen to me. In that loss, we had 300 yards of total offense. That means we moved the ball on IMG. We just couldn't score. They did a fucking trick play. They did a jet sweep pass on us. You bastards. You didn't need to do that. That was unnecessary. That was so unnecessary. And that motherfucker ran that jet sweep. Hey, I went up against. He plays with South Florida Express. That motherfucker so fast. Number 3, that bitch was like when he started running the jet sweep. Our guys knew we ain't got nobody. If he catches this edge, we ain't got shit for him. And then that motherfucker tossed that bitch like up in the air, and we're like, "Fuck." We did. They did what our guys did what they were coached to do in that situation. A lot of people had a lot of comments. Wait till you guys play somebody real. No. Like what the bitch said on the plane. He is not real. That is not in high school. We lost to Kent State. Like then Kent State got their ass whooped by Florida State, but we lost by Kent State. B5, everybody was like B5. B5 had 2 catches for 20 yards. He also got 2 pass interference penalties called while he was open. So like it might have been 3, but I know one didn't get called, and it was clearly PI. Clearly PI. The second one got called in the early in the second in our drive in the second half. They did that. Duval knows 904 puts at least y'all didn't do what William Raines High School did and Doug Smoke. Listen, man, somebody put in one of our comments, Raines needs to play IMG. And I said, it's a phone call away. Like, all you gotta do is pick up the phone and fucking call him. Like, that's what we did when we couldn't schedule Raines week 5. We called IMG and got in a 2-year deal. I tried to ask Tammy Talley to bail us out. I said we can't afford the security. The Jaguars came out. The atmosphere was crazy though. Outside of getting the ass whipping, boy, it was a really, really good one. We had Coach Norvell comes right. And they're like, and the Rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say don't that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. I mean, Mike came over as soon as the person hit the brave. We had a helicopter fly over. We were geeked. We were crunk. Like we knew. I was like, I planned that. Mike came over. I actually asked Mike if he could give me a ride to the St. Augustine Knees game. Like I wouldn't be here no more, dog. Mike came out there checking out the talent. We had Florida's offensive line coach. We had all of these different coaches that were there. The Jaguars sent their people. We had 10 Jaguar players that were there in attendance to try to see if Bryson did something. Wasn't really that great. I'm trying to think, like it was wild. It was the 4th largest gate in Mandarin football history for a team that doesn't have a team that typically doesn't travel well. But everybody wanted to come to see what this IMG team was about. And even some of their parents came to check it out. But I tried to say, Tammy, there's going to be more people here. We can't afford to pay the police officers, Miss Talley. Oh, don't worry about it. Shad paid for it. Ah, fuck. Come on, cancel the damn game, Tammy. Help us like you helped my Raines with Central. we need help. She did not want that. She wanted our kid. The best thing, last year we had 3 season-ending injuries. This year we walked away with no serious injuries. So all I know is this. They whooped our ass. No, y'all didn't whoop our ass. They whooped our ass. So with that being said, to quote the gay thespian from Baltimore that claimed the West Coast, like Napoleon said, somebody got to explain why I ain't got shit. And unfortunately, First Coast, you're up. I hope you guys eat your Wheaties. I hope you drink some whole milk, because if you're drinking nut juice, it's going to end bad for you. But Jay Crowell was not that good, in my opinion. Number 1 overall defensive in the nation, not number 1 defensive in the nation. Phenomenal physique, probably will go to college and do well. I'm just going based upon what I saw. Their defensive ends were a lot better than the D tackles. The same capacity you have to give an ass whooping, you got to be able to take one. And we took one. We took one. But the cool thing is, it has absolutely shit to do with what we got to do. We got to win district. District starts this week. We have First Coast High School. That game will be streamed live on the Recruit app, or you can go to Den Media Group, all for free. And all of that stuff is Mandarin near Jacksonville around Trinity Christian. It's in Jacksonville. It's not near Jacksonville. It's in Jacksonville, and it's Trinity's as you're entering Jacksonville, coming east. So they're on the west side. Mandarin is the last school when you're leaving Jacksonville going 95 South. So we're on opposite ends. The quarterback, everybody at IMG is good, Sport Mark. Stop making me relive this shit. The quarterback is tall. He runs a 4.4. Doesn't look like he runs a 4.4. But not that. I mean, he just doesn't look like he's moving, but he's covering ground. Like he is and he's very tough to bring to the ground. We had a couple times when we had him in the backfield, and we just couldn't bring him down. Luckily, we don't do that anymore. Do you still do FSU game breakdowns? Zoe, I just haven't done it this year. I will do it probably after the Virginia game, because that would be worth it. Like, none of these other games have been worth it. And I didn't have a chance to get to the Alabama one. I can still do an Alabama one if you want to. And I'm going to probably do a Jags breakdown now that I have the all 22. But for those who want to know, IMG is really good. IMG is really good. No normal high school should play it. I think next year we're playing Chaminade, though. Well, I think Chaminade and Reigns will be on the will be on the thing next schedule next year.
Since they're like a prep school, what class are they in? I know y'all are 8A.
They're independent.
Oh, so they Notre Dame y'all, huh?
Yeah, they don't have. They are technically not associated with the FHSAA. They opted out. So while they get ranked because they're a school in the state of Florida, they are not. They're not a part of FHSAA.
Got you. Just wanted some clarity on that, because I was a little confused about if they were in the same class as y'all. But
and for those who don't know, I've had people like Trinity, like this, go look at those teams. Well, one, Apopka used to have a stick, but when they can be beat, they got beat by a team in Utah. I think last year was the most losses they've ever had. But when you look at IMG as a whole, they've lost maybe 10 games since the school's been open. You got to have something a little bit more. But yeah, let's get to we got to ask. Well, the game is on Did Media Group. Please stream it, check it out, and we'll get into our college section now.
The Seminoles dominated Kent State at home in a great fashion. Huge shout out to the Florida State Seminoles for getting a 66-10 victory over the Kent State Golden Flashes. To all of my gamblers and bettors out there, if you guys took the spread of FSU favored by 45.5 points, you cashed out on that. And if you had the total points, the over-under, if you will, over 56.5, then you cashed out as well. But let's take a look at this infographic courtesy of FSU football. So FSU had 775 total yards of offense, most in the country this season and most by any team since 2020. And they also had 498 total rush yards, which is the most in school history. And they also had 8 rushing touchdowns in a single game, which is also the most in school history. So let's look at some notable players before we get into some more statistics and the box score. Shout out to the runner, the track star, but looking like polished wide receiver Mekhi Danzy, 2 receptions, 1 rush 176 total yards, 1 touchdown. Daryl Jackson doing his thing, 4 total tackles, 1 solo tackle, and half a tackle for loss. Gavin Sawchuk, 11 carries, 97 yards, 2 TDs, almost averaging 9 carries, 9 yards a carry. Sam Singleton, shout out him, 10 carries, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jerry Wilson with the INT. James Williams with 4 tackles and half a tackle for loss. And none other than our quarterback, Tommy C., 205 pass yards, 54 rush yards, and 2 touchdowns. So FSU is the first P4 team to have different players produce at least 170 all-purpose yards in a half in consecutive games since 2021. Deuce did this versus East Texas A&M, raking up 173. And Makai did this during the last game, raking up 176 yards in the first half versus Kent State. Let's take a look at that box score, ladies and gentlemen, while also taking a look at the team stats. So Tommy C went 10-13, 205 yards, averages 15.8 yards per completion, and he didn't have any passing touchdowns, but he threw an interception. Kevin Sperry got some bump as well, 64 yards, and then Brock Glenn got some bump as well. Gavin Sawchuk was the leading rusher. Sam Singleton came second, but they tied for rushing touchdowns with 2, and Makai Danzy had a 64-yard reverse like he normally does, and he scored on that as well. So Makai Danzy also, like we mentioned, had 2 receptions for 112 yards, averaging 56 yards per reception. Cam Davis got 3 receptions for 46 yards, averaging 15.3. And then Dwayne McCoy averaged 15 yards per reception as well. Then you had Javon Boggs, who got 30 yards, Elijah Moore with 18 yards, and Amari Williams had a catch for 16 yards as well.
Shout out to Amari Williams' mom. Make sure you're at the tailgate for the Miami one. We need your presence is requested and needed.
Earl Little Jr., Daryl Jackson, and James Williams ended up being the lead total tacklers for the Seminoles, each tying with 4 tackles. So let's take a look at the team stats for you right quick. Man, let's take a look at the total yards difference, 775 compared to 206. FSU was 9 of 10 on third down compared to Kent State going 3 of 14. Kent State was 1 of 2 on fourth downs, while FSU was 0 in 1. Passing, FSU did its thing, going 16-24 with 11.5 yards per pass, and each of the teams had an interception thrown. But take a look at the difference in the rushing, 43 compared to 498, a 455-yard difference in rushing between the two teams. FSU averaged 9.2 yards per rush. They both got 5 penalties. FSU lost more yards with those penalties, and FSU had around 9 minutes more of time of possession for you. Man,
498 yards, 9 minutes at top. You know, listen, man. I've heard from some of my friends, like that's getting banged. Like the worst way to lose a game is getting ran through. The best way to win is sometimes you feel like you're in the prime, you got your testosterone flowing, you just bang, 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 bang. That's what 498 yards is doing. Like, you know, I see the trolls with some of the rival fans, and I'm like, bro, like if you got 490, if you are like y'all, if you're destroying somebody and you're just like creating, like you're hitting them so hard that you're creating openings and holes, like you got to take it. And to do that 9 times for 9 minutes straight banging, it's a lot, dog. It's a lot of you're gonna leave damage right there. That's crazy. But there was a couple things that you talked about. You mentioned James Williams. Did you see the interaction between James Williams and Nebraska fans? Like random Nebraska fan went up and just screenshotted his box score, like, you know, saying we're clearly not missing him. And like, damn, dog, like chilling, minding his own fucking business. And then you over here doing X, Y, and Z, like talking shit. Relax, man. Let that boy be. And then I want to state that with call Gus Malzahn what you want. Call his offense a gadget offense, a gimmick offense. But when you got that gadget gimmick offense with some eliteness on it, whew, Lord. Like shit. Like Mekhi is just, he's going to be the highest drafted player out of Florida High. And I'm going to be happy for it. I love it for that young man. He's doing this thing. Just keep building upon this. And boy, the sky's the limit for that young man. And they're going to build some trick plays off of that stuff. I just know it. They're probably going to watch the IMG game with the jet sweep and set up the pass just like that.
Shout out to the Seminoles for continuing to dominate their opponents this season. Next game is against Virginia, so we're going to see how that pans out. And speaking of FSU basketball, FSU football, let's touch on FSU basketball. So according to FSU Hoops, FSU has the number 1 recruiting class in 2026, according to 247 Sports. The Laux era is in full effect, and man, he's gotten some commits, gotten some good, strong, tall bodies for the team. I'm excited for the team this upcoming season. But you see it, number 1 recruiting class in 2026. So the Laux era is off to a great start. Shout out to the team and shout out to Luke Laux for you guys. So let's transition from Florida State football to the
I think we have. Did we have any more before we move on? Did we have any more FSU questions about the game, or some other stuff? Because I do know Thomas Castellanos had a little ankle injury, but it seems like he's okay. Miles, just scroll up in the comments actually, I guess I could go just look at it on the YouTube. I know we had some people who had asked things. I just feel like I might have missed it. Shout out to Dad Bob Mack. He was able to get the tickets. It seems like he had a good time at the game. I appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure should I keep it up for the Miami game or should I just be is it green if somebody buys them for a stupid price? Because the Miami tickets are selling for more than the Alabama tickets are at this point. Oh, what's the thoughts on the run deep? Shit. 43 fucking yards. That's a lot. So people say who are your opponents? So Jaden, and then before we get into this, Jaden, before we get into the other stuff too, can we go and just do we'll do a little short preview of Florida State, Virginia. Can we we put up the preview on ESPN? We can look at some of the data and I could explain to people what some of those different things mean. But when we look at what they've been able to do, just here in their recent run, they came out the gate playing physical. They shut down Bama as well, which is historically one of the tougher opponents with the run. That was actually what everybody talked about. The SEC is supposed to have the better offensive line. Offensive lines, bigger defensive lines, better ingredients, better pizza, all that other shit, right? That's what the SEC is supposed to have. If Florida State was only doing it to the Sisters of the Poor, it would be a completely different story. But people keep forgetting it wasn't just that Florida State beat Alabama. Florida State dominated Alabama. A muffed punt is literally what made this only a 14-point game. Florida State was going to drive down and fucking put the dagger in there. And Alabama scored on that drive, but then Florida State went right back and matched that. That is when you know you got an opponent. Things that Florida State's defense did to one of the best. And now, granted, Florida State wasn't the greatest either. This is when you know you're in a battle. They were below five. Alabama was below 500 on third down conversions. That's something that you don't want. They held Alabama to under 100 yards rushing in a real fucking game. 87 yards rushing is what they held Alabama to. Now, let's just go back and look at what Alabama has done since then. Alabama beat Louisiana Monroe 73-0. I don't count that one. They beat Wisconsin, which is a better team than what Kent State was. So it gave them a little bit more of a tough. What did Alabama run against them? Let's see. Let's look at the team stats against Alabama versus Wisconsin. Well, shit, maybe the motherfuckers can't run no more. But they threw for 382 yards against Wisconsin. All I'm saying is Florida State does pretty good with that. To hold a team under 43 yards rushing in a blowout when you're rotating numerous guys in and out is a treat, is a really good thing. And one thing I will say is this. Go back and you look at Tony White's defense against when he was at Nebraska. I think I said it, and I think it's the most impressive thing. They weren't that great in the passing game, but we had the DBs. He has the scheme of the front seven to be able to help against the run. Nebraska did not give up a rushing touchdown at home at all last year. That stat is almost as was the only stat that's more impressive than this is that I know everybody hates Adam Fuller. I get it. But you forget Adam Fuller only gave up 4 passing touchdowns all of the 2023 season until they played Georgia. That's 4 passes where the ball has to go in a forward vertical motion. That is tough to do. So if we're getting better in the passing game with Tony White's scheme, kudos to Patrick Surtain. And I forgot the dude that Sheena called. Sheena said was kind of weird, but whatever. I'll say this. He has definitely made our run game better. And in that, Darrell Jackson, both twins, we got good twin, and we're gonna call him bad twin because now he bad because he a bad man. He ain't bad because he bad. And even then he wasn't bad, he just wasn't better than good twin. But right now, I don't know which twin is better, but I know bad twin is a bad man. You got the Lions, who everybody forgot about. They've got players playing to a level that is just good, and there's still names that we have not heard yet, that we still have expectations. And I do want to go back and I want to bring up a young man that I like. I love his mama. I love his daddy. Cool. Daddy looked like Andre 3, not Andre 3, excuse me. Daddy Fat Stacks, Bigboi. Cam Davis' dad looked like Big Boy. But like that ate a little bit more. Now he ain't fat, but he just got that big boy look from Outkast. Cool as a fan. But I've learned this, so you gotta have two. When your old lady is up in everybody's face and volatile, somebody gotta be reserved, or vice versa, right? Cam Davis is coming around showing people why he was a 5-star. And I think they're gonna find a way to use him very differently and effectively. And I will say this: I told y'all about Sam Singleton. That's Jaden homeboy from the same hood. Y'all from the same hood in Fleming Island?
I don't know if you can call it hood in Fleming Island, but we went to the same high school. Yeah, he's a little bit younger than me.
When we played them, right? We were like, he's a track guy, but he's like big, and he was running like 10.5, 10.4. People don't realize this. When you're like over 215 pounds, you're not supposed to be running that fast for that long, right? So you tend to have a lot of injuries, like hamstring stuff. And I'm like, so I see him, we play him, and he runs, and he's taking it out. He gets ran down by our kid, John, who plays at Georgia Tech. No, actually, he got ran down by AJ, who plays at Penn State. And I'm like, That ain't D1. I was like, man, get him out of here. I don't want him in Florida State. Fuck out of here. Then this motherfucker did the next time. Our linebacker hit him, and I talk about it looked like how the cartoons when the people run in the walls and they just slide down. That's what it looked like. Sam hit him, and then next thing you know, pew, and John, who is a 10-4 guy that's at Georgia Tech, could not catch him. And I went and I was in the Discord with the fifth quarter Discord. I said, yeah, we got one with Sam Sequence. Yeah, he nice. You got Osama bin Laden. It's going to take him a little bit more time. I think he's going to get better in the big games. But and then Gavin Sawchuk, violent runner. That needs to be our number one guy. I like Roy Dell, but like it's just not. I don't feel it. Just I don't know what's going on. But Gavin Sawchuk is the deal. Like he's got a backfield full of good backs. So kudos to him. I do love that. But let's check out this Virginia game. Let's look at some of the Virginia stuff. I'm excited about having a real opponent. So Virginia brings in, I believe, they have the number 4 offense in the nation. I'm definitely taking the spread. I feel like we should take the over on this. A lot has been made of Thomas Castellanos and his lack of yards without realizing we don't have to fucking throw the ball to do a lot of shit. What scares me the most about this though is that C. Morris has a stack, right? In 4 games. So he's averaging a little over 250 a game. His leading receiver has 321, which means he's distributing that bad boy pretty good around everybody else. Let's look at the Virginia Cavaliers in general. Let's look at their let me see their schedule. Okay, we're perfect. So they beat the Stanford Cardinals. They beat up William and Mary. They were in a shootout with North Carolina State. And they beat up on Coastal Carolina, who's absolutely ass. I'll say this. They have not played anything to the caliber of Alabama that we have. And Kent State is just as good as Coastal Carolina, William and Mary. It may be a smidget below Stanford. So I don't want to. I don't have any fear. But there's this saying that we have: fear no one, respect everyone. This is the game that I'm circling. This is what I've been saying for a while, even before we beat Bama. I said the Bama game doesn't tell me anything about Florida State. It just tells me that Bama is Bama. And Bama is still Bama because they're going out there and we got to be Bama fans right now because Florida and I got some news on Florida as well here because Florida and Clemson have decided to unilaterally fuck us again when we have good seasons. I don't like that. I think y'all some low-key hating motherfuckers, man. Yeah, like y'all see we winning and y'all are trying to fuck our strength of schedule. And Miami's at the same time. So us and Miami can come together as a family and say, fuck University of Florida for fucking us. Because Miami only has 1 game for the rest of the season. It's October 4th. And right now, it looks like the same way with us. Florida's probably going to fire their coach by the time it's about, but he's going to get some holiday shopping in. And I don't like that. I don't like when coaches get to do Black Friday like the rest of us. Nah, make them motherfuckers work all the way through the season like the rest of us. Don't give them a bonus to go away. I hate that shit. You got Syracuse, you got Dabo fucking up the church's money. He ain't gonna get fired, but we got a bunch of guys that probably ain't gonna have head coaches. But going back to this shit, I think we win this and win this convincingly. I think we take care of business. I think Virginia will probably get about 14 points. It might even be a 20-point game, but it's going to be it might be a 56-20 type victory. And you know what? I'm okay with that. First test on the road, Friday night. A lot of bullshit going, lot of bullshiggery going on over there. It's like I call it like Halloween and shit out there. I hate that shit. No offense to Miles, but all the shit that we used to read as kids, the Ichabod Cranes and shit, it feels like that in Charlottesville. Last time this many black people went to Charlottesville, it was a lot of guys with torches and shit walking around. It was a little intimidating. But we got to go in there and we got to fuck them up. And we got to take the mindset that people got to get fucked up sometimes. And it's our mission in life. If we go out there and we win convincingly on a Friday night, you will see me I'll be live tweeting this game while I'm coaching, because that's what the fuck I do. I've done it for years. They all know that. I coach running blacks. Run where they ain't. I don't coach defense. I tell my backs what the fuck they did in real time. I need to go back there and watch the film. That's for the line. They need to go fucking block. I'm going to be watching this game on my phone, on the sideline, probably updating the referees while we're there. And I need to see us take care of business. If we take care of business, then October 4th would be great. We'll all make money. Miami will finally get a chance to see what it feels like to have one of the highest viewed games. People will watch your game. You'll see what it's like to play in the packed stadium, regardless. But I think we have to do something. We have to make sure we put good film out there, because this opponent that we are facing on October 4th is a pretty good ball club, and we got to make sure we're doing what's necessary in that. Shout out to Sun Grown Selections. I don't know. Hold on, let me see. I'm over here giving you a shout out. Commenting on Twitter when we like those comments to be on YouTube, sir, ma'am, or whomever you are. But all love. All right, James, what we got now? Is that enough for anybody? That's a good little decent preview. This is not a Florida State podcast. Disregard the shirt. we are. I don't ever want to confuse, because that's what those guys like to do. They're like, "Not, we got him. He's talking about Florida State." No, this is not I'm not a Florida State beat writer. I'm alumni. It just happened to be asked when people ask me a question about Florida State. I'm happy to be obliged to speak about it. But this is not a Florida State pod. We are this is technically a Jaguars podcast, even though we probably should talk more about the Jags than what we do. But fuck it. They know we love them.
The new Week 5 AP Top 25 poll is here. So let's get into the top 25 rankings and the discourse and dialogue details surrounding these 25 teams. Ohio State stays at that number 1 spot, the national championship winners from last season. Miami bumps up to number 2 with their defeat of the Florida Gators. They had jumped 2 spots up. So Penn State has dropped a spot and LSU has dropped a spot as well. Georgia and Oregon are still in the same ranking, but Oklahoma moved up 4 spots with their defeat of the Auburn Tigers, and FSU dropped from 7 to 8. Texas A&M is in the top 10 with their win against Notre Dame. And then finally, Texas is moving their way out of the top 10. They're at that 10 spot, dropping 2 spots as well. Indiana is at the number 11th spot with their blowout against Illinois. They jumped up 8 spots. Texas Tech jumped up 5 spots as well, coming in at the number 12 ranking. So Ole Miss stayed the same. Iowa State dropped 2. Tennessee stayed the same. Georgia Tech bumped up 2 spots. Alabama down 3 spots. Vandy up 2. Michigan up 2. Missouri up 3. USC up 4, going from 25 last week to 21. Notre Dame moved up 2 spots. Illinois still in the top 25, but They dropped 14 spots with their blowout loss to Indiana. And TCU and BYU are new teams on this list. Just wanted to update everybody with the AP top 25 poll. So, with those new updated rankings, let's dive into the games that contributed to those rankings. So, football started off on Thursday. It was one game, Rice and Charlotte, 28-17. But James, there was a there was a kind of unsurprising result in Friday's game between Tulsa and Oklahoma State. Tulsa ended up beating OK State 19-12. But let's get into the Saturday slate of games. LSU defeated Southeast Louisiana 56-10. And on ESPN, this is one of the first games that popped up on the score chart. So let's take a deep dive into the Florida versus Miami Hurricane game right here for you guys. So we actually have a graphic as well, courtesy of College Football Kings. Miami defeated the Florida Gators 26-7, a 19-point victory for the Miami Hurricanes. Miami led Florida at half 13-0, and Miami scored 13 more points to end out the game, while Florida scored a touchdown in the third quarter. But this is what it looked like during halftime. Miami had just 32 total yards at half. They both had 0 turnovers, and and Florida only had 1 first down compared to Miami's 12 first downs. And at half, DJ Lagway went 6 for 12, 28 yards, and had -3 rushing yards. So let's take a look at the box score before diving into the team stats.
Always got to look at the box before you dive in. That's a good idea. Free game by big game.
DJ Lagway for this game went 12 of 23, 61 yards.
Generational.
And he averaged 2.7 yards per completion with a QBR of 24.1. So let's take a look at Miami's.
That's close to what his QBR was against Long Island. So his, not far off. The progression is getting pretty good.
Beck went 17 of 30, throwing for 160 yards, average of 5.3 yards per completion. Didn't have a touchdown in the air, but he threw an interception. Let's take a look at the rushing. Man, Mark Fletcher Jr. is a problem. 24 carries, 116 yards, and a touchdown. And Shamar Brown had 18 carries, 80 yards for 2 touchdowns. Jaden Boss was the lone scorer for the Florida Gators, raking up 46 yards on 12 carries, average of 3.8. No receiving touchdowns on both teams, but the leading receiver on both teams would be Shamar Brown, 4 receptions, 53 yards. Muhammad Torrey had 10 total tackles, and Ruben Bain, a top defensive prospect, had 7 total tackles as well. So, James, let's take a deep dive into these team stats to see how the game was lost. So, Miami had 21 first downs compared to Florida's 7. Man,
hard to overcome.
I know you guys see that. Florida was 0-13 on third downs. Just going to repeat that. Florida was 0 of 13 on third downs, while Miami had a 50% third down efficiency, going 8 for 16. They also went 1 for 1 on fourth down, and the Gators went 3 of 6 on fourth downs. Passing wasn't the greatest for the Gators, only getting 61 yards in passing compared to 160, and the Gators did not break over 100 rushing yards as well. So they both got turnovers. However, Miami raked up 3 more turnovers, but only lost 10 more yards to those turnovers, and Carson Beck threw an interception. And here is the top difference. Miami had 13 minutes exactly more time of possession than the Florida Gators. So, James, was this game surprising to you with Florida's recent hardships, especially with that quarterback play? you can say the defense didn't play their worst game against the Hurricanes, but let's talk about that Florida offense and talk about that quarterback. Was this a surprising game for you, or could you predict the score and could you predict these stats by DJ Lagway and that Florida Billy Napier play call offense?
I predicted they were going to play with some pride, and one thing I actually give Mario credit for, but I also dislike it because it gives fans a when you're just reading a box score without looking at how those when those yards were gotten and when the points were scored, it makes it look like this game wasn't close. Oh, this game was close, even though Florida was playing like ass, brother. It was like they scored 2 shit touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It was a really boring ass game. And what sucks is, like, I know Kirk got a lot going on. He got that emotional support dog and all this other shit, but y'all got to call the game right, dog. This is 2 powerhouses. I heard that. Like, no, it's not. It's one program is actually doing pretty good. The other one stinks right now. They stunk last year, but y'all hyped it up. Y'all gave them a shot in the ass because DJ Lagway was a 5-star in high school. And we've all learned that you got to leave those high school accolades right where the fuck they were at in high school. He has not shown you anything besides that he has the potential. And all potential means is that you ain't did shit yet. I'm not saying he's dumpster juice. You ain't got to talk whatever, dog. But y'all gave a lot of accolades to a guy and talked a lot of shit about other people's children when your children was trash. I'll say this. I don't think Miami really had any fear, but when I'm watching the Miami offense, it gets so conservative so early for no fucking reasons. Like, in this situation where, and I'm going to go and kind of talk about both of them at the same time, Jaden, DJ Lagway has not proven that he is a good thrower of the fucking football. You can make this a blowout, which it should have been, by attacking downfield. Carson didn't really attack downfield enough. And what was wild is Florida was putting pressure on Carson, and they had some clips where, it's not a hold if it doesn't get called. Somebody's going to turn these things in and tell them to watch those offensive linemen. Now, I will say this. When you play it away, you bring your referees. So that was the SEC crew that didn't call the stuff on Miami. So it wasn't like it was home cooking. But Lagway, I don't even know if he's hurt. He is. He's hurt. I know he's hurt. Ain't got shit to do with how he's throwing the fucking football, though. Like, it's got nothing to do with his decision making. It has nothing to do with him stinking it up. It's just all injuries hurt more when you suck. Yeah. Like, my brother, it really looks like torture watching DJ Lagway throw the football. Now, they went to something that started working. They basically were running the wing tee out that bitch. They was running quarterback draw, quarterback power, and they were getting active on Miami and started gashing them. But then they did something that was crazy. They started trying to make him throw again. The boy clearly showing you he don't want to throw, man. Stop making the boy throw. The only thing he wants to throw is up. But here's the problem with all of this. I said things like he did get better last year. When he was coming out of high school, I told people, I don't like the way he throws the ball. The ball looks like it's been drinking all night with how it's wobbling. It cannot pass the DUI test. DJ Lagway's passes would fail a field sobriety test. And not only does he throw a drunk ball, he throws Hennessy bottles, meaning when that guy catches the ball, somebody's finna get knocked the fuck out and wake up drunk. He literally put a dude in a stretcher. And it's going to get worse now. You got Dallas Wilson's going to has an injury. Almost all of you're going to have guys opt out. Here's new Florida. They're not going to fire your coach anytime soon because the minute you fire a coach, there's a 30-day transfer portal window, and they don't want to lose the team right now. You got guys that are going to get picked off. I really wish Vernell Brown Jr. would have done more research into so that he wouldn't put Vernell Brown III through a situation where he's going to have to be punished for the sins of his father and his grandfather to be a Gator during the worst time in Gator history. And you got my dog in there. I know he's not gonna. I don't think he should try to play. Nah, make these motherfuckers thug it out with this sorry shit. You just got your leg back. Ain't no need to be running for your life every week because y'all getting your asses whooped. Make them figure it out. They got news that they're gonna apparently he has told the O-line. I mean, not the O-line, the staff that Russ Callaway, he told the AD that Russ Callaway will be calling plays for the rest of the time. It's still not a good option. You just don't have a good play caller over there. The best person on this staff is the defensive coordinator for Florida. He actually has his guys looking competent and trying to make plays. If you want to know, Florida fans, you want to know what 2-10 looks like? It looks like this. You have an offensive-minded coach who doesn't do anything, that doesn't make any changes during that time or didn't make the adequate changes beforehand, or the changes didn't work. And you have a defensive coordinator who's actually working overtime and getting his guys hurt, and then games get out of hand, and you end up firing the DC and everybody else. And then the fans cheer. But Florida's defense did not lose them this game. Florida's offense and their head coach failed them. And that's what and if you're a parent right now, it's apparent you don't give a fuck about your kid if you send them to Florida knowing that this is what's going on. This isn't me just selling out on Florida hating. We all as a family in the unison can agree Billy Napier can't call shit. He wasn't a good he's never been a good OC. Go look at the history of things of him, of what's been written about him. He don't call football plays very well. And if you send your offensive-minded kid to go play for a head coach who doesn't call football plays very well, it doesn't work for you. And it's not just against Miami, it's against fucking South Florida. LSU tried, this was so reminiscent of the LSU game that it boggles me. So like when somebody asks, do I think Miami should be ranked number 1? No, I don't think Miami's better than Ohio State. I actually don't think they're better than Penn State right now. And it's because their offense doesn't look scary nor threatening. The defense looks pretty good, but there's times when they haven't been attacked yet. We don't know if their corners are any good because you haven't played anybody that can throw the ball vertical. But that being said, I told y'all, I've had top from a Gator. It ain't always that great. It's very mid. 13 minutes of top to get it done. It's entirely too long. They don't know what they're doing out there.
The Hurricanes were enjoying Gator in the locker room shortly after their victory, James. They had the Gator on standby, and they were eating good after they got their dub against Florida. Saw that online circulated. Thought that was hilarious. Sorry to the Florida Gators, and, man, sorry for any Gator fans in here who still has to watch their team get coached by Billy Napier. But according to James, he has relinquished that play calling title. So
it's like putting on a condom after you nutted in a girl that you shouldn't have. It's too late. You're already about to have a baby with a hood rat. You got a hood rat baby on the way.
Let's get into some more notable games from this past week's slate for you right here. I am so sorry for all my bettors out there. I think the spread on the Oregon game was 34.5, and they scored 30, and their spread was
all
34.
The bad things that fucking happened to Oregon. Like, I fucking hate Dan Lanning. You know that's the only game in my parlay that didn't hit? Bro, I had that money spent. I knew what I was doing with that money, dude. And then like you just run it up. You don't have it's a rival. What's one more touchdown gonna hurt? They don't like you anyway, and you don't like them. Stop being friendly. Oh, friendly ass coaches.
Sorry to everybody who took Oregon's 34.5-point spread. Just to let y'all know, y'all can adjust the spreads on Hard Rock Bet. So if you did 34-point spread, you would have got your bread. But the line that was down was 34.5. So you missed out on that opportunity, man. Whew, that sucks. Speaking of sucking, Arch Manning and Texas wanted to prove their haters wrong. They defeated Sam Houston in a 55-2-0 shutout. You can see Arch Manning actually standing over his opponent right there. I'm not even going to show the meme or the clip just because, man, it's not even worth it, Arch. It's not even worth it. But they did have a shutout victory against Sam Houston. Moving along, James, this game was the most surprising game of this week's college football slate between the Indiana Hoosiers and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Mendoza did his thing, James, a former Cal quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, who's actually from down South Florida, went 21 of 23, 267 yards and 5 touchdowns in the air. And their running back did his thing as well. Both of their running backs, man. Kobe Martin, 12 carries, 107 yards, which averaged 8.9 yards per carry, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns. And their other running back, Kalen Black, averaged the same amount of yards per carry because he had 89 yards on 10 carries, and he also had a rushing touchdown as well. So Illinois scored 2 touchdowns in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth quarter as well. Luke Altmaier for Illinois went 14 of 22, 146 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Glad he got his ass whooped. I love when I'm loving when quarterbacks who are supposed to be a part of our lore go other places and they stink. Makes me feel good on the inside. Because Luke was supposed to be he was supposed to be, I want to say Mike's second recruiting class. He was the commit, and then he decommitted.
So this is the game that jumped Indiana from that 19 spot all the way to 11. You can just take a look at the first down difference right there. Indiana had 31 first downs compared to Illinois only having 9. Illinois went 1 for 10 on third downs compared to Indiana going 8 for 11. So you take a look at the total yards. Indiana had 579, nearly 600 total yards, while Illinois had 161. Passing, there was only a difference of about 108 yards. Excuse me, guys. And then, James, take a look at that rushing. 2 yards compared to Indiana's 312.
That's
rushing
wild.
Yards. And Indiana had 19 more minutes of time of possession than Indiana. So it looks like Indiana fired off of all cylinders, had a great rushing game, chewed the clock out, didn't commit any turnovers, and found their wide receivers. So it was just an overall great day for Indiana. But 10-63, a 53-point spread, and a 73 total point game for the Illinois and Indiana matchup. Wow. Very, very surprising.
This is why I think what they should do is we really do need to get away from preseason rankings. Illinois was overranked. I believe Indiana was underranked because they lost a lot. And when they did play against anybody with a pulse that was actually considered a good opponent, they folded like laundry. But there's no reason that you don't make that kind of jump. You only make that jump because they're making it seem like, hell, Florida State beat a team that was actually in the top 10 and didn't get that kind of a jump. That historically is good. This stuff doesn't make any sense. And none of this is real until week 8 anyway, when they do the real college football rankings. I mean, the playoff rankings. So, they're going to always overinflate and overrate Big Ten and SEC teams. Do you have that AP ranking readily available, Jaden, so we can just put that up so that we can just be honest on real, like who actually is good? Like blow that up. Like to be honest with you, I think if you want to do one, you just have to do it. Just do top 10 schools. But right now, based on this, there's LSU's biggest quality win are against two teams who are overinflated. Clemson's not there, Florida's not there. I don't know who Georgia's beating, but I'll give you Georgia. Georgia should be number 4. Oklahoma should probably be at 5 right now. Texas A&M has beat Notre Dame, who finally beat a team that had a pulse in Purdue, but I'll give you that. I don't think Texas is a top 10 team. They have done nothing to show you that they're a top 10 team. I believe Georgia Tech probably, actually, if you're looking at just based upon who they've played and how they've played it, Georgia Tech has given you every reason to believe that they're more of a top 10 team than some of these other guys. We can't just overrank people and then say, oh, well, because they play in the same conference, they've won, now they deserve this. They don't deserve shit. But that's why college football is going to always be often debated, and it's, styles make matchups, but I don't even care if Florida State. People can bitch about Florida State dropping back a ranking. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Keep us unranked until it's time to be ranked. Like, I want a chip on our shoulder.
Moving along through these slates of games, Auburn fell to Oklahoma at Oklahoma 17-24. So one of the Heisman frontrunners, John Mateer, went 24-36, throwing for 271 yards, average of 7.5 yards per completion, and he had a touchdown as well. He was also the leading rusher for his team, just getting under 30 yards. If you're the leading rusher for your squad and you have under 30 yards of rushing, man, I don't know how these guys sealed their win. But John Mateer, 10 carries, 29 yards, 1 touchdown as well. So Cam Coleman got a receiving touchdown for the Auburn Tigers, and Malcolm Simmons got a rushing touchdown as well. Isaiah I'm just going to say Isaiah the third, 9 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. John Mateer got a rushing touchdown on the ground. So let's take a look at this game, shall we? At the team stats. Auburn actually got more first downs, but both of these teams were awful on third down. Auburn going 3 of 15 and Oklahoma going 3 of 12. Auburn got 16 less total yards compared to the Sooners. Sooners did their thing on the passing tip, but both of these teams rushed under 100 yards. You can see it right there. And then Oklahoma actually ended up getting more yards taken away from their penalties, but Auburn had more penalties. Oklahoma had a fumble loss, but Auburn lost this game, even though they won the time of possession battle, accumulating 11 more minutes of time of possession than Oklahoma, James. So just looks like Oklahoma was more efficient than the Auburn Tigers, and they got a chance to actually capitalize on that scoreboard for you. Oklahoma was tied at halftime with Auburn 10-10, but before scoring 14 points in the second half compared to Auburn's 7. This is the game that jumped the formerly 11th ranked Sooners to the top 10 to that number 7 spot, bumping them up 4 spots. And Auburn is not in the AP top 25 anymore with this loss, James.
Again, another team that has done absolutely nothing to prove to you that they've been there, except for being involved with the Southeastern Conference. Oklahoma has been looking really, really good. Maybe it took a little while for them they just had to keep the hose to the face and keep pumping, or whatever the coach said. This is the coach that says all of the wild shit. the pause-worthy moments. They're looking good this year. Like it's finally turning around. That leading up to that showdown for Texas, Oklahoma. But I still think I think the Oklahoma quarterback is good. I think Auburn is just getting the benefit of the doubt. They'll be firing another coach in 2 years. Just hard place to play with, especially when Alabama's good. But Auburn's a program that for most of our life has been hit or miss. Alabama got good with Saban, but they were mid after they won that natty in 90 or the early 90s. I think the world is about to shift back to where it used to be, and kudos to the SEC for capitalizing on the money grab while they were able to, so they could make sure they'd be able to spend money as things go along. But yeah, I think both programs are overrated right now. I just don't. I'm not the brand of football that the SEC is playing right now. We can try to pretend like it's great, but it's not. Not across the board.
Somebody mentioned Oklahoma and them setting a school record with sacks. And the game against Auburn, they had 9 sacks and they had 14 tackles for loss. So, definitely beating them up on the trenches on the defensive side of the ball. And 14 tackle for losses, that's not an easy number to get in a game. So, shout out to that Sooners defense for you. Let's continue with these slate of games as we progress through some notable matchups. Ole Miss defeated Tulane 45-10, but they're still in that 13th ranked spot for you. My bad, y'all. Let me share this with you guys right here, courtesy of ESPN. UAB took a L to Tennessee. They lost by 32 points. Never betting U.S. currency on the Utah Utes again, man. They lost 34-10 to Texas Tech. I was not expecting this much of a spread in this game as well. Georgia Tech, James, Haynes King, and their squad doing their thing. Magic City Monday going crazy today in the ATL. Yep. They defeated Temple 45-24. They were formerly ranked 18 and they bumped up 2 spots to 16. Vanderbilt did its thing against Georgia State 21-70. They bumped up 2 spots as well.
Does Georgia Tech play Miami this year?
Let's check. No, they don't.
They got them off the schedule.
No, they don't.
Miami has to play Syracuse, though. Does Miami have a game that will really challenge them outside of Florida State? SMU will challenge their defense. Stanford won't. Virginia Tech won't. They play Pitt at Pitt?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be snowing then. But no, they really don't. They got a bye week before Florida State and after Florida State. Like, that's insane. Like, damn, dog. Like, that is like, and in most of your, like, you don't play an away game. You don't play a game out of the state until November. But the cool thing is, it'll be, well, Texas is not going to be snowing like that. But they only have 4 away games? Wow. That's crazy. All right. Well, cool. Oh, D. Thompson talked about, I just got something. You want me to, can I read this what Auburn submitted in a press release?
Yeah, go ahead.
In Saturday's Auburn at Oklahoma football game with 10 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the second quarter, a pass was thrown to Oklahoma number 5, resulting in a touchdown. Oklahoma number 5 participated in the previous play, which was a first down play from the 22-yard line. After the first down play was completed, Oklahoma number 5 continued toward his team's sideline, but stopped just before reaching the Oklahoma sideline. NCAA football rule 9-2, Article 2 is labeled unfair tactics with paragraph B stating, no simulated replacements or substitutions may be used to confuse opponents. No tactic associated with substitutes or the substitution process may be used to confuse opponents. This includes any hideout tactic with or without a substitution. The officiating crew did not properly interpret the action as a hideout tactic. If properly officiated, the second down play should have resulted in a team unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of 15 yards assessed from the previous spot. Appropriate accountability will be applied without additional comment. Oh, that's what the SEC officiating crew officially put out. Now, what's crazy is they hit him with the old Pop Warner play. Come over here to the sideline, act like you're talking to me, and then you're still on the field. Count 10 players on the field, and then notice who doesn't look appropriate. And you won't have these issues, man.
Bill Belichick hit before, so even the professionals vote for that old one.
I mean, is it kind of corny?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very corny. Is that the reason why you lost? Nah. You lost because you gave up 9 fucking sacks. They definitely didn't pretend to not bring the ends. So
as a fan, I love seeing stuff like
like just win.
that.
Speaking of winning, let's finish out these slate of games with score recap. Michigan held off against Nebraska 30-27 in a very, very, very close game. Michigan was ranked 21, and they are now 19 as well. Missouri did their thing against South Carolina. The lower sellers, 18-28, 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he could not get the dub against Missouri. They went from 23 to 20. Moving along. USC beat Michigan State. Like you mentioned earlier, James, Notre Dame defeated Purdue by 26 points. Arkansas, Memphis, really close game. Maryland and Wisconsin. Maryland QB was doing his thing, and Fran Brown did his thing against the Clemson Tigers. James, I took Syracuse 17.5 point spread, and I knew I was good from the first quarter on. Man, Dabo is on his downfall, but Cade Klubnik went 37 of 60, 363 yards and 3 touchdowns, but couldn't come close to Fran Brown's team. Man, they beat Clemson by 13 points, so shout out to Fran Brown in the Syracuse Orange. Moving along, Virginia Tech got their first win against Wofford 38-6. SMU TCU showdown. TCU got the dub. Louisville beat Bowling Green, whose head coach is Eddie George. Just want to remind everybody, UNLV defeated Miami, Ohio in a shootout 41-38. USF had to get their lick back, James, against South Carolina State, though 63-14. Bill Belichick lost to the Knights 34-9 at Orlando.
Coaching young people is a lot harder than picking them up to be able to fuck them. I can tell you that much.
Oh my goodness!
Like Bill, it's easier to fuck a 24-year-old than to tell him to run routes.
You should have tried that sideline play.
Definitely.
NC State lost to Duke 33-45. Very, very high scoring game for this ACC matchup as well. Delaware beat FIU. Surprised to see that. But moving along, we got a couple more games to discuss. Stanford versus Virginia. Virginia beat Stanford by 28 points. BYU beat ECU, and they're now in the top 25. And for my Colorado fans out there, Colorado defeated Wyoming 30.
That's what I'm talking about, Prime.
220.
You got to win them games, dog. Show them who you are, Prime. You got to win the tough games, dog. Wyoming is the best team in their state. You ain't nobody here. You ain't never heard about Wyoming A&M or Wyoming State. That's because Wyoming is the top dog in Wyoming. Got to beat those guys. You got to win the ones like that, dog. That's what gets your program on track.
Speaking of getting your program on track, Coach Deshaun Jackson and Delaware State had a 39-10 victory over St. Francis, and they now have a 3-game winning streak for the first time since 2012. Man, shout out to Delaware State, man. They continue to do their thing on that football field, and shout out to first-year head coach Deshaun Jackson.
I don't even know What is St. Francis? Is that a? I mean, good on going 3-0, but we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to make it seem like I don't want to like knock nobody. I've only heard about them like in like a St. Francis high school or something like that. But Delaware State's 3-1. They beat Albany. That's a good one. They lost to Delaware, beat Albany. Bowie State, I think, is D2. And St. Francis, I think, is D2 as well. But that's straight. Good for them. I like that. I want them to be successful.
Speaking of being successful, James, this D3 player is looking to gain some memories back on that football field. This is courtesy of Front Office Sports, but it looks like a D3 school called Lycoming College in Pennsylvania has a 58-year-old freshman. Yes, you see, it says class first year defensive lineman. I can't verify this part, but in the 1980s, Tom Sillo is his name, Thomas Sillo, quit high school football to do drugs, then worked for a city's streets and parks department for 33 years. Now he's fulfilling his dream, being a college football player.
That's
on the website.
That's a wild like caption, by the way. Like he quit to do drugs. Like, did they have was that necessary to be included? That's hilarious.
I don't know. Front Office Sports, a very reputable sports media company, did have that in their bio. Can't confirm that he quit high school football to do drugs, but what I can confirm is that he is on their website, on their roster for Lycoming College, a D3 football school in Pennsylvania. He's D lineman, James, 227, 6 feet tall, first year. Whew. Man, 58.
Let me scroll back up. Let me see this team picture. Yeah. Yeah, they're not they're an unserious program.
For sure. But hey, man, shout out to Mr. Sillo, man. 58 years old, doing his thing out there, trying to get some cardio with the youngins. Man, good luck, my boy. Good luck, Mr. Sillo. Whew.
There's a lot of schools like that you don't really know. I got a letter from a school when I was leaving high school, and the picture was in black and white, and I saw one other black kid in the photo. I was like, those are all ghosts. I'm not going to this school in Connecticut. You gotta be kidding me.
Like it's just I don't want to play football that bad. Like
yeah, for real. Like, that's what I decided. I was like, oh, this is my offer. I'm done.
Yeah, the Lord has a way of telling us when it's over for us, and that's one of those. Like, my brother, you're a 6 foot 220. It is never gonna happen. Like you're not just trying to grow. Like you're gonna hurt something, and I'll be happy that happens. All right, go play you go play the adult Pop Warner like a real man.
He's too old for U37, James.
That's you know what? Yeah, that's true. That's true. Damn, that's crazy.
Let's get into the NFL topic for today. Have a lot of games to discuss. Man, this is a great week of games. A lot of weird matchups. Didn't know who to put my numbers on, who to put my bets on, but let's get into the games. But first, let's talk about that Thursday night matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Any Miami fans in here? I'm sorry for y'all's loss again. 0-3 on the season in this AFC East matchup for you right here. Quick look at the box score. Josh Allen went and did his thing, 213 yards in the air, 22-28, average of 7.6 yards per completion, and he had 3 touchdowns in the air. James Cook, man, showing him why he deserves to get paid. 19 carries, 108 yards, average of 5.7 yards a carry, and he had a touchdown as well. Josh Allen coming off dealing with a broken nose in the Jets game. 4 carries, 25 yards still. Dalton Kincaid got a touchdown. Khalil Shakur got a receiving touchdown as well. And Jackson Hawes got a receiving touchdown as well. Keon Coleman didn't get a touchdown, but he had 3 receptions for 20 yards. Man, it looks like Tua was doing his thing a little bit out there. 22-34, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he had 1 interception, a key interception that caused the game to be in the Bills' favor. I'll go right here. Interception was in the 4th quarter at the 4:17 mark for you right here. Tua Tagovailoa tried to pass short right intended for Jalen Waddle, intercepted by T. Bernard at the Buffalo 17, and that pretty much sealed the game right there. Buffalo got a field goal and ended up taking this game to a 10-point spread for you guys right there. So the Buffalo Bills, through 3 games this season, 3-0 record, 100-plus points scored, 0 turnovers, less than 15 penalties, 150-plus rushing yards per game, and 250-plus net passing yards per game. Never in NFL history had any team done all that over any 3-game span, courtesy of Opta Stats. And just want to show love to Josh Allen, last year's MVP. So he's the fastest player in NFL history to reach 300 career offensive touchdowns, including playoffs. Man, he's definitely a beast on that football field. We talked about Colorado facing his alma mater, James, Wyoming. They got a loss, but, Josh Allen got a dub for.
He had a lot of losses at Wyoming as well. He was trash in college, but he had measurables, and it's worked out. You get the right coach. Proof that if you get the right coach, right system around you, good things can happen. Imagine if he had Cardi B's baby daddy still. Like, his career wouldn't be floundering as it is right now. But his problem was he was trying to smash everybody. So, but Trash Josh is doing well. It's like they're going to try to make them the Kansas City Chiefs. But I would like to see them, the Bills or the Ravens versus the Eagles. That's a hell of a matchup. That'd be 2 really wild fan bases too. Like, people will get fought.
They're more complete teams than Kansas City right now.
KC is literally just Mahomes and Taylor Swift's husband.
Yeah.
So or fiance. I don't know if they're married yet, but I hope he doesn't sign no prenup. Don't sign the prenup, dog. You ain't no punk.
I wish Tyreek Hill could go back, because Miami, it's not good over there.
Listen, man, Mike McDaniel should stop lying about drinking, and or if he's really trying to stay away from it, like, you're more creative when you had the bottle, man. So, like, you might want to go and make that happen.
Tua is the check down king. His leading receiver was Devon Achane, the running back. He had 7 receptions, and he had the 2nd most targets on the team, only behind Tyreek Hill, who had 10 targets, but only 5 receptions. Man, I think his prop at the beginning of this game was 5.5 receptions, and I think he got that during at halftime.
Took that, but I took other things, and just Tua is about as reliable as Sierra's husband.
Achane is a star, and he's dwindling. That oppressive.
That's the best way to describe it, Miles. I've never heard anything. This oppressive regime.
Yeah, it's just so bad.
Here are the scores for yesterday's slate of games. Got some games to discuss. Man, that Minnesota D was going crazy against Cincinnati and their backup quarterback, even though the Vikings had Carson Wentz in as their backup QB. They defeated the Bengals 48-10. Jaguars got a dub against a division rival. Man, this game counts as 2 wins. Got a dub against the Texans 17-10. Colts, man, Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones, whatever you call him, that boy is nasty. He defeated our division rivals, the Tennessee Titans, 41-20. Man, Marcus Mariota filled in for Jaden Daniels, and he put on a show in the nation's capital, defeating the Raiders 41-24. Rams and Eagles, a NFC Championship rematch, ended off in a great game. And James, your girl is happy. Sheena is happy because they Steph Curry the Falcons 30-0. Man, Michael Penix, not looking the best out there. Cleveland messed up a lot of people's parlays, defeated the Packers 13-10, and Rodgers and company beat the Patriots 21-14. Buccaneers got another game-winning drive to seal out their 27-29 victory over the Bucs. Chargers did their thing against a division rival, the Broncos, 23-20. San Fran, Mac Daddy, aka Mac Sauce, Mac Jones, did his thing against a division rival. The Seahawks defeated the Saints 44-13. Bears, in high fashion, defeated the Cowboys 31-14. And last but not least, a Sunday night game between the Giants and Chiefs had the Chiefs winning 22-29. So let's take a look first at the home team, James, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Jacksonville Jaguars face off against CJ Stroud and company in Jacksonville yesterday. Looked like the weather was very nice out there when they were playing. Looked like it wasn't too hot. Looks like it wasn't too humid out there. Good football weather. But the final score was 17-10. So let's get into some of the details surrounding this game and hear James's opinion on the game itself. First things first, let's take a quick look at what these ESPN analysts and commentators had to say about the Jaguars. Man, I see Dano, see Ryan Clark, see Mina, and I see Mark Spears. Look who they all got, man. You see, they took the Texans. Look at the scores they predicted. 21-14, 2017, 2016, 17-14, and 28-24. Mina had the closest score, but she had Houston winning. Man. But Leon Cersei put, here's what they think about you, Duval. And the Jaguars actually reposted this when they won and said, we do not care what they think, because Jaguars ended up getting that W against the Houston Texans.
Yeah. I think what happens is the Jaguars are easy. We will be a punching bag until we decide to punch back. Consistently, and not the fans show more fight than what the organization has shown during the time in which I've been involved in all of this over the last 10 years. But what I do think is it's not fair, and what people expect the talking heads to do is to speak about things from a fair and balanced point of view. Everything is skewed.
Yeah.
So there are 16 games every weekend. I cannot get, unless I go back and watch, and they can't. They don't have enough time to watch. What's that? Let's go 16 games, even if you get condensed copy.
Right.
You're talking about 120 plays because each team plays 60. That's going to take you 40 minutes minimum if you just do one watch. For the most, you're going to just do glance overs. You're going to look at box scores, and you're going to look at the highlights. And you're going to look at what traditional information is giving you. And when you look at Trevor Lawrence is not judged necessarily based upon what he is doing, but based upon what he was said to do and what he was anointed when he was the first overall draft pick. It is safe to say, and we have to stop being sensitive because we are an easy target. Much like Florida State fans, we're easy target. Trevor Lawrence has not lived up to the billing of a number one overall pick. We expect more. But when you're talking about picking a game, you have to be fair. Now, history suggests that we don't beat the Texans at home.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jags fans. That's just the truth. History also suggests that against CJ Stroud I think he's lost one game. No, he's undefeated against us. If I remember, because we didn't beat him. We lost to him. Yeah, he's undefeated against us. And CJ Stroud has looked like a better quarterback in not this is year 3, but in his previous 2 years. He looks like he's on an upward trajectory. Trevor doesn't. Now, what you got to look at, though, is the games that they have played. The Jacksonville Jaguars, regardless of what you believe about Trevor Lawrence's performance, good or bad, are 18 seconds away from being 3-0. They're a Travis Hunter bullshit pass interference call away from being 3-0. There are some other plays that also lost them that game as well, but they are that close. The same way that Texans fans are saying before that, they were 3 to 4 bad plays away from being undefeated. If my aunt has a dick, that's my uncle. I'm just sorry. I mean, it doesn't matter how you identify. We can identify as a 3-0 team since we were 18 seconds away. We're still 2-1. That's what our record says. And right now, they're defeated. But what we got to stop doing is stop getting so butthurt when somebody critiques Trevor. But we also, those who are in the national media, have to just stop saying you're going to lose because Trevor, like the narrative that they've said about Trevor could clearly be said about CJ Stroud this year. He is not playing well.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And I said something on the news that I know a lot of people, it's going to go over a lot of people's head. Here's how you win ball games if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars. Winning is contagious. Your job on defense and offense is to make sure, your job as a team is to make sure your individual position group performs better than the other team's individual position group. So regardless of what you feel about Trevor, yesterday CJ Stroud looked way worse than Trevor. Trevor Lawrence won because Trevor Lawrence outperformed CJ Stroud. The Jags won because regardless of if he didn't run as well as he's ran in the previous 2 games, Travis Etienne played better than the Texans running backs. 1,000 drops or not, Brian Thomas Jr. performed, and the wide receivers of the Jags performed better than the Texans wide receiver consistently and across the board. The defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars created 3 turnovers. They've got 9 turnovers in 3 games, something they didn't even do in the 2017 run with the Saxonville. They got sacks, got pressure on the quarterback. The defense performed better than the Texans defense. And the overall object is to win games. In the NFL, the goal is to be, if you're average, if you're slightly above average, you go to the playoffs. All you need to do is be slightly above average. Win 10 and you're in. There's 17 games. Even you might be able to get it with 9. But the only problem is, and where you have to be critical, but the coaches, you have to be realistic because there is a trash-ass quarterback that we all wrote off that is the direct comparison to Trevor Lawrence from a statistical standpoint that went and changed sceneries and is fucking lighting. He is playing like the best quarterback in the league right now.
You believe in Daniel Jones?
I don't. I believe in what I'm seeing, though.
Facts.
He's 3-0, and he is winning them the game.
100%.
Like, I know this. If Anthony Richardson was there, I would be like, hell yeah, we just took over the division.
Yeah.
But right now, the Texans are in disarray, and they look like the worst team. Good teams find ways to win. I'm going to say this. Good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. The Texans are a bad team right now. They have found ways to lose. I'm afraid that the Colts are trying to figure out how to be a good team too. Because the Titans aren't good. But anyways, just Trevor, we played well enough to win. And that's all, at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Trevor went 20 of 40, throwing for 222 yards, 5.6 yards per completion, 0 touchdowns in the air, however, and he had that 4th quarter interception. CJ Stroud had 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown in the air, 204 yards, and he got sacked twice. Trevor got sacked twice as well. ETN looked like he was doing his thing on the football field with his carries, 16 carries, 56 yards, and he had a touchdown. Basul Tutton got his first rushing touchdown in the NFL with 6 carries, 21 yards as well. Nico Collins was a lead receiver on both squads, 8 receptions, 104 yards, 1 tutty, and nobody caught a receiving touchdown for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's get down to this. Devin Lloyd had a fumble recovery. And then let's get into the defense. Tyson Campbell was the leading tackler for the squad. 7 total tackles as well. Travis Hunter, 6 total tackles. 4 of them were solo. And he also had a 1 reception for 21 yards. Take a look at the interceptions. Jordan Lewis got one, and Antonio Johnson got the interception to seal the game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Take a look at the team stats before we get into some more videos. Jacksonville had 4 more first downs compared to the Texans, and they both went the same on 4th down, James. Very, very awful numbers. They both went 4 of 15 on 3rd down. Just want to repeat that. They both went 4 of 15 on 3rd down. The Jaguars ran 7 more plays, and they accumulated 20 more total yards of offense. And they both had the same amount of drives as well. Jaguars defeated the Texans in the pass game by 21 more passing yards, and they both got sacked twice, I might add. And they had similar rushing yards as well. The Texans only had 1 more rushing yard. Jaguars got 9 penalties, but they lost 70 yards to those penalties compared to Houston, 7 of 66. And this is the kicker. Houston had 3 turnovers compared to the Jacksonville's 1 fumble loss, 2 interceptions thrown compared to the Jags having 1 interception. And Jaguars had 3 more minutes of TOP. James, I know drops were another topic of this game, especially when it comes to 7, even though he led us on that last drive to get that game winning touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. had 6 targets, but he only had 2 receptions for 55 yards. He was visibly frustrated before he ended up getting that late game 46-yard pass to bring up that Jaguar score from 10-10 to 10-17. But let's take a look at the noticeable drops from the Jaguars game.
Crazy.
So hold on. Let's pause it real quick. Can we? Is that on Twitter?
Yeah, this is on Twitter.
All right, let's go back to the first one and let's slow it down.
All right. 0.5 speed.
All right.
I have a feeling he's gonna say it's a little behind.
It is. It wasn't a little behind. Like
His hands are on it.
So no. All right. So I judge by this. All right. Pause real quick. Go back a little bit. So that guy right there, right? That's Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence makes $50 million a year to throw the football. All right, now push play. $50 million a year because he's supposed to be one of the better quarterbacks to play football. It's thrown to a guy who's making $3 million a year. And now there is another guy there, but this is why coach said if he puts the ball to his right shoulder, that catch is made and he's falling down.
But there was pressure too.
No, I'm not knocking. I'm just saying this is not an easy catch to make. He's got to stop his momentum with the guy behind him that's going to hit him. They're dropping the passes because they don't. Trevor's doesn't have faith in his receivers to catch it, but his receivers don't have faith in Trevor to protect them either.
That's true.
So it's a double whammy. It's in multiple, as I always tell people, multiple things can be true at the same time.
He just needs him a good old white Wes Welker.
That he has that. And you know what that guy did? That guy started dropping it too.
See, that ain't Wes.
You know why? Because he has a concussion. And that was Parker Washington. Parker Washington got his ass cleaned the fuck up and said, man, I'm dropping this shit too. But still, I'll say he should have caught that. That's the same play. Oh, that's a different play. My bad. This is the Parker Washington one? Like, again, go back. Look what Parker Washington's looking at. Pause. No, that's scary. Don't throw that pass. Catch it, Parker. But don't throw that. Parker, you're not like BTJ. His contract is guaranteed.
Right.
You got to catch that, but it's a tough catch to. I'm just saying these are not easy catches. Should they be caught? Yes. Could they have been thrown better? Is all we're saying.
Okay, that one he didn't want to catch.
All right, go back.
He
This
had
is
his
Trev.
arms tucked.
This is Travis, who I don't know what's going on with him in his life. Yeah, you got to catch that one, dog.
That's crazy.
I ain't got nothing for you, homie, on that one, bro.
Good protection. I can. The white boy would have caught that.
Yeah. Like there was one catch where he made it. Brian Thomas Jr. It would have been an incredible. It should have been a catch. He jumped over the guy. He just got to bring it in. He got to bring it in. The Travis one was a high. Like you can't drop that. Travis Hunter dropped one. What happens is when you throw a catchable ball, you're able to get it and stretch it. And again, I'm with Travis. They should catch it. Yes. He should throw it better.
It's a race thing. When it comes to getting hit, white people
they
will take it.
You know what it is? It's things when I see a white wide receiver, they're going to be technicians.
Yeah.
They're going to run crisp routes. They're going to catch the ball. They're the Mexican boxers.
Bretton Strange didn't drop
it. Bretton Strange is tight. That is his Wes Welker. To be honest with you know what? That's what makes Patrick Mahomes is great because he has a good tight end.
Yeah.
Bretton Strange is out here saying, bump it. I'll make these catches.
Yeah. It's a little boring,
but it's a motherfucker ball being like that interception that he threw. He was not practicing. He doesn't practice motherfucker ball.
Looking for that clip. I found it on YouTube.
I wanted to ask your opinion.
Like it's one of them ones that somebody's gonna comment on. Like I thought we had it as a pinned one, but maybe not. But motherfucker ball is not something that Trevor practices.
This is the moment he actually threw the interception to Jalen Petrie, James, in the fourth quarter before going.
And I like the way you said that, Jaden. He threw it to Jaden Petrie. Like he was the only person who was going to catch that pass.
Yeah.
There was nobody else catching that one.
That was crazy.
Wasn't it like triple coverage? Double, triple?
It was at least double. It was literally Petrie was just there.
I didn't even see the receiver.
The receiver was coming there. So again, it's like, guys, all right, like two things are gonna happen in that situation. Petrie's gonna get the interception, or Petrie's gonna put your guy on a Petri dish. Like that's what's all that's gonna be left of him. He's gonna like disintegrate, buddy. There's just gonna be a blob left. If that's how they're gonna have to identify the body, it's through Petri dish DNA samples. Like, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. But when Trevor's on, Trevor's like it's going to click one day, maybe this year, and if it doesn't, then shit, it don't matter. Like, because we're only going as far as his arm takes us.
Sorry for the Jags fans, but I actually ended up finding the interception Trevor Lawrence threw.
Like, right there. Who? Hold on, whoa. You ain't even got to go back. I want actually now. Let's look. Same look, same line of trajectory, right? So Trevor's eyes are looking to the right on the plane, going past the sticks, right? So he's in his drop, and let's just see when he throws it. When he throws the interception to my guy, push pause. There is a person wide the fuck open. Like I'm saying this, I'll look at it on the all 22, but motherfucker ball, Miles, you were right. There's three motherfuckers right there. There's probably only one motherfucker to the top where you're at. And if anything else, there's a safety who has to come all the way. Okay, there's a safety right there. My bad. All right, so boom, boom, boom. Okay, so there's the safety's at the 50. Travis is deeper than the fucking. There's 8 there. Okay, so he would have been there, but it's 1-on-1. You throw it to the sideline, you're probably not throwing an interception. Don't know what Trevor was probably throwing it blind. Might have thought that this is if they do this, they're supposed to do that. But I can tell you this, as I tell people, when you look 3 motherfuckers in one area to 1 motherfucker in your area, and he's not that guy, you're probably gonna. The odds are not in your favor. That's all I can say.
After the interception, the Jaguars actually had the chance to up the score. So Trevor Lawrence led the Jaguars downfield, courtesy of Brian Thomas Jr. catching a 46-yard pass to set up Travis Etienne's 10-yard touchdown run. So we actually have some insight for you right here. So Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen said the 46-yard catch and run from BTJ that set up the winning touchdown was supposed to be a run play, but QB Trevor Lawrence recognized the blitz, changed the play, change of protection, and made a great throw. Mia O'Brien echoed similar statements by saying Trevor Lawrence says he told BTJ mid-game, stay in it. You're going to be the one to set us up to go win it. And it happened. And this is the blitz that Trevor Lawrence recognized for that BTJ pass, recognized cover 0, and take advantage for that 46-yard pick up. James, a lot of people have been lamenting kind of their sentiments on the Jaguars selecting Travis Hunter with that number 2 overall pick. We read his offensive and defensive stats, and Travis Hunter is credited with 80 total snaps versus the Texans, James. 37 on offense, 43 on defense. So we have a 3-game window, 3-game resume for Travis Hunter so far, James, by him playing offense and defense. So from this point in the Jaguar season, what splits would you like to see him take for the snaps on the offensive and defensive side of the ball? Is 37 and 43 too much on defense? Would you like to see a majority of his snaps on offense? What is your optimal snap usage for Travis Hunter this far in this season?
Well, what they showed is he has way too much like he's a liability in tackling, but there was an injury that happened, so he may have to play more DB now due to, but also De'Ami Brown got hurt, so he may have to. There's honestly, that's true. They got to figure out one way right now, because he's not bad. He's just not. He's not it. Like, if you're gonna keep playing them both ways, then you're really putting him at a disadvantage, in my opinion. Yeah, like he's got to learn how to play the game. Somebody hit me up. They said they sent. I don't know where they sent the film to. I can't think of his name. I talked about him, but he had his son goes to Popka or whatever. Having I don't know where you sent it to, so I can't watch this film on this because it's not in any of my. Yeah, Ken. Sorry, Ken. You got to tell me where you sent it. I don't see it on any of my socials. So, yeah.
Jags got to figure out one way with Travis Hunter if we want to see the most optimal results from the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft. We talked about an AFC South matchup, James. So let's talk about the other AFC South matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. So the Colts ended up winning against the Tennessee Titans 41-20. So Cam Ward, 23 of 38, 219 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He was sacked 4 times. Indiana Jones wasn't sacked at all, and he went 18 of 25, throwing for 228 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, man, is a top 5 running back in the league, and you got to put more respect on his name. 17 carries, 102 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Tony Pollard got a rushing touchdown as well. And Alec Ayomanor scored the lone receiving touchdown for the Titans, and Michael Pittman Jr. scored the lone receiving touchdown for the Indianapolis Colts as well. So let's take a look at this fact right here. Since the Colts are 3-0, the last time Indianapolis started 3-0 was the 2009 season, and they reached the Super Bowl that season. So Indianapolis in 2009 started 14-0 to reach the Super Bowl as well. So, man, looks like the Jaguars are number 2 in the AFC South, only behind Indianapolis. And, man, looks like Indiana Jones and the squad are making their way in this 2025 football season so far. So, man, this was very, very unexpected for any of the Daniel Jones fans who was with them in New York. Now he's went from New York to Vikings to Indianapolis, found himself a new home, and he's doing great, great things in Indy. Whew, looking like a whole different guy out there, James. Whole different guy. Speaking of whole, oh, my bad.
No, I'm saying I just hate it, but I don't. Good for him. I just want us to win. I just want to. It's so much funner when Jags are winning for me.
For sure. Definitely want the Jags to get that number 1 spot in the AFC South. But, James, let's talk about the NFC South and talk about these uniforms from the Tampa Bay Bucks. Whew, man.
I like the old school creamsicle.
Great, great, great unis. They ended up wearing these uniforms to defeat the Jets 27-29. So this is the first time the Buccaneers are 3-0 since 2005. And also the Bucks have 100 rushing yards and allowed fewer than 100 rushing yards in 11 straight games, the longest streak in NFL history. That is an incredible stat to have, courtesy of Todd Bowles and company right there. And Aaron Glenn created the GIF of the year.
Yeah, this is fire. I plan on using this in so many different creative ways. He had every reason. If this is when they returned the field goal.
Yes, I was just about to mention that, James. The reason why he danced like this is because the New York Jets ended up blocking a field goal, and he returned it for a 3, and he returned it as well. So, man, well, got the touchdown from the blocked field goal. Excuse me for the mishap, but yes, blocked the field goal, ended up being up by 1 score. It was by 1 point, 27-26, and the Buccaneers did what they usually do, lead a game-winning drive for a field goal. So, speaking of that, the Buccaneers are the first team since 1970 with a game-winning score in the final minute of regulation in each of their first 3 games of a season. So, man, that Baker clutch gene, pretty evident in the first 3 games of the season. But shout out to Emeka Egbuka, man. He has been so cold during his first NFL season. Just want to shout him out. 6 receptions, 85 yards. Mike Evans got a touchdown, but he ended up getting hurt during the game, and it looks like it's a possible hamstring injury, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to be out for some time. So Emeka definitely getting some touches. But James, man, Baker cannot be stopped when it comes to those game-winning drives at the end of the game, man. Todd Bowles and company are 3-0, starting off that NFC South with the highest of expectations, man.
Yeah. They're doing their thing, man. They're doing their thing. So, let's see if he's gonna keep pushing it forward. Like they're showing that they would have liked to have kept Liam, but they're chugging along. So, kudos to them. And hopefully they continue to win. But I know Carolina says they're coming for him. So
the Bengals ended up losing to the Vikings 48-10. 10. So both of the teams had their backup quarterbacks in, and Carson Wentz for the Vikings had 2 touchdowns in the air, going 14 of 20, throwing for 173 yards. Jordan Mason, the Vikings running back, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and Hawkinson and Josh Oliver scored the 2 receiving touchdowns for Minnesota. So Minnesota had a pick 6 courtesy of Isaiah Rodgers, and Joshua Metellus had an interception as well. So courtesy of OptaStats, the Vikings are the first team in NFL history to have 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2+ defensive touchdowns, and 2+ made field goals, all before the 4th quarter of a game. Shout out to the Minnesota Vikings for dominating in that fashion. Moving along with these games, the Steelers ended up beating the Patriots 21-14, and Aaron Rodgers has continued to move through the historical ranks of passing touchdowns, James. So Aaron Rodgers is now the fourth all-time in career passing touchdowns, with his 3 squads right there at the bottom. Recently getting past Brett Favre for that spot. He's only 30 touchdown passes behind Peyton Manning, and he's behind Drew Brees and Tom Brady as well. So shout out to Aaron Rodgers for cracking that top 5 in career passing touchdowns. Man, James, the ayahuasca definitely doing something different. I know he's going to have a good ayahuasca celebration soon, man, for his accomplishments. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers.
That's good. I mean, that's an accomplishment that's very difficult to get. So kudos to him.
Shout out to him, and shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles for holding on, pulling through, and getting the dub against Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, and the Los Angeles Rams. So let's take a look at the Rams versus Eagles game right here. So the Eagles came back from down 19 to beat the Rams and blocked the potential game-winning field goal. So you see right here, it was tied. It was 26-7 at 11:40 in the third. And you see the final score. Eagles ended up scoring 33 points to the Rams' 26. So Jalen Hurts, man, he's been on a tear as of late. In his last 17 games, including the playoffs, he is 17-0. So losing is not something typical of Jalen Hurts right now. And we mentioned that blocked field goal. So Jordan Davis, who scooped the ball up, is the heaviest player in NFL history to return a block kick 50+ yards for a touchdown. And he weighs 336 pounds. And he was moving with all of that 336 pounds for you right there. But let's just take a look at the scoring plays for you right now. So, yeah, you can see how it ended. Rams had their way with Philadelphia. Going into halftime, it was 19-7. And then the Rams actually scored again. Philly was not done. Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. And the reason why it was 33-26 is because Jordan Davis did return that blocked kick as well. So, man, shout out to the Eagles, man. They've been doing their thing, holding on, and we are going to keep on keeping on.
With the craziest thing is that Cam Newton was ready to just pounce all over Hurts again. You know, he had I think it was -2 passing yards with 2 minutes left in the first half. And then I guess he finally cut it on. So, but that was crazy.
That was crazy indeed. So, yeah, those are some of the important games we wanted to discuss for you right there. We did run through the scores for you guys, talked about some of these games, and, man, Russell Wilson is going through it with the Giants and Chiefs. So that was your Sunday night game. Just want to reiterate that score before we move on. Chiefs ended up beating the Giants 22-9, and Malik Neighbors seems like he's pretty fed up with New York. Fans were calling for Jackson Dart to get in the game instead of Russ. but those are some of your notable games from this week's NFL slate of games. Now we're going to move on to our big games BS section for today, where we bring the scope of the conversation outside of the typical football world. You know, we start off with our BS or bussin' segment. So let's get it on. And James, this is a familiar video because I took this from your page, actually, because, man, I wanted to know and wanted the fans to know what your thoughts was on this food right here, man. What do you had to
play the music? I love that song. I'll mute it out later. Like, I love that. That song is just so happy. It takes me to my happy place. Oh, never mind. You got to unmute the your thing again. But this was the Gator Bowl Chairman's Club annual event that we do at Amelia Island. I never get a chance to fully embrace it because I got a coach on Friday nights. Got my teeth kicked in on Friday, but this was Saturday after my boys did to Apex Elite what IMG did to us. So shout out to UCAA. The banana pudding cup was okay. I didn't want to eat the chocolate cobbler. Something about that doesn't sound appealing at all. Like, I don't want reverse upside down chocolate pie.
Chocolate covered peaches? What is it?
No, there's no fruit or anything. There's just chocolate and bread on top of it. But that shrimp boil, like, they tried to do this at the Gator Bowl last year, and it was not seasoned properly. They seasoned the hell out of that, dog. The shrimp was definitely, you could see the seasonings in that. I ain't do none of that healthy. That's rich people shit. But it was fire though. It was what else did they have up there? The fried chicken was good. They had some collard greens with hog maws.
Hey.
Like a hog maw, excuse me, ham hocks. That's what I meant. Ham hock. Like, normally you don't get that at that kind of establishment. Bert, there weren't any real bugs around Amelia Island. I don't know what's going on. Like, I didn't get bit by mosquitoes. No, nothing. It was just like nothing, no flies, no nothing. But the food was that was fire. It was better than what it's been in the past. But yeah, it was busting though, for those who want to know.
Was busting. Shout out to the Gator Bowl for that. Just gotta do this right quick. Let me make sure we are rolling on with the show, because we are going to talk about the new MVP before we get into the end of the show in the WNBA. That is none other than A'ja Wilson. So A'ja Wilson ended up securing her fourth MVP, and she is the first player in WNBA history to accumulate 4 MVP awards. She led the league in points with 23.4, averaged 10.2 rebounds, and she led the league with 2.3 blocks. She also secured a co-defensive player of the year award this season. So this is the second time she has earned the defensive player of the year and the MVP award in the same year. GOAT chants are starting to increase with A'ja Wilson, and rightfully so. First player in WNBA history to win 4 MVPs. So shout out to A'ja Wilson on a great season for you.
Very good baller. I think what gets missed into today's society, why can't they give Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese both their respect for bringing in and bringing more attention to it? But in that, if you're paying more attention to the league, respect Ms. Wilson as the baller that she is, because she is the best. And the other ones they need a couple more mango years. They got to grow into they got to get their grown women weight up before they mess with her. And she nice.
Shout out to A'ja Wilson. And let's talk about an NIL, no in the leagues, but this isn't football. This is baseball. Huge shout out to Cal Raleigh, the catcher for the Mariners and the home run derby champion. He leads the league in home runs this season. As of right now, he's currently 5 home runs ahead of Mr. Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Schwarber. So shout out to the FSU NIL, doing his thing in the big leagues, man. Huge shout out to Mr. Raleigh, FSU for life. Shout out to him. Continue to do your thing, man, and get those bombs, man. Get those bombs for you. Moving right along, James, Cardi B album came out on Friday. Am I the drama? Right here for you.
Yes.
I
can
didn't
answer
listen.
that question for her.
Yeah, that is true. She is the drama. Didn't listen to it, but Cardi B becomes the first woman to have Janet Jackson featured on an album. Just want to clarify this, that Janet is included on the song Principle, because Cardi B included a sample from Janet Jackson from her 1986 song, The Pleasure Principle. So it is that the same vocals from that song. But still, any Cardi B fans, the new album came out. Just wanted to share that as well. So, James, we got some film to discuss. Yeah. So, courtesy of the text you sent, we got a quick clip to play.
Ken, now which one did Ken say? Ken said it was his son, and I'm assuming it's number 98. So if you're listening to this, Ken, make sure we're watching the right person. And now this is dangerous. So, but I'm going to give you some good. I'm going to give you good feedback, man. Like blow it up. That's all, so we can really watch this as a family. Or can it be blown up? Hey, y'all gotta send we gotta send clear copy. Actually, if you blow it up, it's gonna be blurry. Let me look at it on my phone.
All right, let me play it right now, but it seems like it can't be blown up. Yeah, it cannot be blown up. But I'm just gonna play it right now while James watches it on his phone as well.
I'm all right, first clip. Okay, well, that's easy to. I'm assuming his son is not the one getting sacked, but that's a good. Let me see if they come in. I don't get it coming off the edge, so like I don't know how well he's doing on that first one out the gate. All right. Is he 98? I think that's 98 with the dreads. All right, see him beat that. All right, pursuit angle. Oh, the boy could boogie a little bit. Okay, maybe that's not his son, 98. Oh, 98's here. Boom. Boom. Ooh, okay. Yeah, it's got to be 98. 98 is actually doing pretty. He's got some talent there. You can see he's spry. He's spry. He's explosive. What you got to do is you got to work on that pad level. He's a little high. You'll get away with that with his age group right now with that JV, which is what I'm assuming. But like when he gets to varsity, them tackles. You don't want to be too high because they're gonna slow dance with you, and you don't want them to slow dance with you. What I mean by that is I seen my kid, like I told you, my guy Kendrick, nice guy, Kendrick, nice. I hope he go to Florida State. And them big linemen put their paws on you and they get to dancing with you. And you don't want that. You don't want that. But what he does really well, he looks like he's wiry. Got to put some weight on him. But if he could dip that shoulder, play a little bit lower, use that explosiveness, he'll be pretty good ball player. So I don't know what grade he's in, but you asked. I appreciate you watching. Submit that. I like watching people that I feel like could be closer to family than some other people. So I just looked at my old I just had to log in because I thought he might have sent it to my old Twitter. And man, there's so much film in there that I've missed. Like so many people have put stuff in there. So like I do like doing that for people. So especially if he's in 9th grade, man, he got it, man. That boy look tall. So just make sure he's eating. And you don't want him to be petite. And remember this, because is that the last thing we got, Jaden?
Yeah.
All right. Remember this, guys. Again, I'm going to use the game that, like a lot of people, the way the game is now, I'm going to use Ken as an example. I appreciate you submitting me that. If you want your kid to have an opportunity to play at the next level, you have to ask yourself, is my family committed to making this happen for my son? And what does commitment look like in this instance? And not just so it's not just the kid has to be ultimately committed. Is he doing what he needs to do in the classroom? without talking back? Is he doing like, nah, bro, we need you need to have a 3.0 core GPA, not cumulative, core. That means he has to average B's. The higher your GPA is, the more options you're going to have to play in college. The lower your GPA is, the more you need to be like fucking Bryson. And even Bryson has a pretty good GPA. So I'm just telling you that's free game. Your freshman and your sophomore year are when you stack and you can cheat. The classes are easier. Get that to where you could get into college prep classes, or you could do dual enroll. It's easier to take a college class at a community college than it is when you go take it in a big school. And you want to stack those A's as much as you can, because baby bio, I went from having 20 people in my fucking class to having 400 be the smallest class I took as my freshman year. You get lost. It's tough. But get your grades, academics. If you're only doing school workouts, now notice what I'm saying. You better do school workouts. That's important. That's not about your kid getting better as much as it is about the team getting better. And if your kid is like that, he is going to make everybody else around him better. You got to commit to the school workouts. But if that's all you're doing, you're not doing enough. The difference between your kid and the kid that you see on TV is 3 to 5%. They're doing 3 to 5% more than what your child is doing. And over time, the compounding interest of what they're doing adds up, and that's why their kids are being seen. Has nothing to do with your coaches not liking you. It has very little to do with your system. Your kid just isn't better than the other guy because somebody else says it. The market, it's true capitalism. The market dictates your worth, but your worth, you have to put in work for your worth to be something. So again, school workouts, what are you doing outside of school workouts? That doesn't mean, like, are you going to a guy getting you better at your skill? Are you doing 7-on-7? Are you doing O-line, D-line training? Because now they don't have just 7-on-7. It's 5-on-5 O-line, D-line stuff. Are you going to camps? What are you doing with most people don't make a lot of money, so I'm not here to bash anybody, but what are you doing with your income tax refund? Are you putting it back into your child's athletic development or academic development, or are you going to buying Jordans? I'm here to tell you that if you took if I told you take $2,000 to $3,000 a year from 8th grade, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. So that's $12,000 that you could spread out over 4 years, and that would get you $100,000 plus scholarship. Or if I told you I was going to give you $100,000 annually after 4 to 5 years, I'm going to give you that every year. You would take that. You would take that money. You would take that bet. That's what you got to do with your kid. Now, if you're 5'5" and your baby mom and your child's mother is 5'2", you're not going to have a Division I football player. The genetics are against you. And if your kid does come out 6'2", keep your heart, man. Don't get the blood test. That's your son now, okay? Just realize that. Genetics is showing you that you're not a mutant. They need to either be smarter, or if they're bigger than you, it's probably not your son, but that's your son now. Raise them. When Birch told me we have 54 kids commit football players and y'all don't, it made me think we do have a bunch of good kids that would like to go to college. You have to be intentional with it, unless your jit is just that good. And at that point, if you know that, you're being intentional without even being intentional. Other people are doing it for you. But if you don't have it, your kid, you got to have it's bigger, faster, stronger, and win your reps. The earlier you get, the reason why my son goes to Mike Norvell's football camps, the reason why I have a football camp, the reason why my sons are going there, so they can learn how to compete in a football camp. Because if you wait until they're a junior in high school, that shit is intimidating. They don't know the steal reps mentality. I tell all my backs, steal reps. As soon as you go again. Most of the kids are back there laughing and kiki and they're trying to make friends. Make friends after the camp or during water breaks. In between whistles, we're trying to earn a living. And as a family, unfortunately, we you're going to have to, it's going to require a sacrifice of your time. You're going to have to drop that kid off to practice. You're going to have to drop them off to the extra practices. You're going to have to take them to the camps. You're going to have to pay for hotels. You're going to have to do all these different things, or you're going to have to entrust and put them in the hands of people like me with MFTK Foundation and some of the other stuff that we're doing. You're going to have to find, like I'll tell you right now, if you keep up with me, Ken, just remind me. We do like 3 or 4. We do a bus tour with our guys. Like we went to Middle Tennessee State, Mercer camp. There's mega camps. You need to have them in those mega camps over the summer. I'm just here to tell you guys this is just these are the facts. You got to be, and even if they weren't the same can be said for basketball, tennis, tiddlywinks, shoots and ladders, or even if your kid is like my goddaughter wants to be a dancer. So she was in New York doing camps and recite. You got to do extra. If you're just sitting around waiting to be discovered, you're going to be just sitting around waiting to be discovered. So I'm here to tell you that's free game by Big Game. And I want to help. I'll help anybody who wants to help themselves. But like, hey, that's hey, that's all I really got to say about that, unless people have more questions. Man, I love it. We having our youth showcase on November 9th to pick our 14U, our 10U, 12U, and 14U teams. There's only one player guaranteed a slot right now. It's Trey Coleman. If we have an 8U team, which we won't, if we had an 8U team, you know who's guaranteed to be on that 8U team? Killer. That's the only guarantees. So we got that. Then December 20th, we have our high school football showcase, which will have overtime, on-3 rivals. We may let 247 in. I'm not sure yet, but we definitely will have some of the best in the nation at our showcase on December 20th. And then from there, we'll have all of our teams, and we'll have the MFTK Spartans. We'll have the MFTK Summit, where we're going to break down how to brand and build you an athlete in today's climate. That is the goal, is to educate parents. If you want your kid, I'm just telling you this, if you want your kid to be good, you have to be committed as much as your kid has to be committed all the way, but you have to be committed as well. And that's the only way it works. I wish I could tell you differently, but if you're around here and the only time the coach hears from you is when your kid not playing, and you're not watching, or also let people speak to you the right way. Some of y'all, your baby is like always, oh, my baby's so smart. Your baby cross-eyed and retarded. They need a football IEP. And there's nothing wrong with that. But let somebody tell you so. And maybe you think your son is power 4, but the reality is your son grades out at a G5. And there's nothing wrong with that. Their size, their measurables might make them G5, but we're seeing in today's climate, go where you're wanted, ball out, and the check will be there if you do what you're supposed to do. Too many people wanted the old school mentality, man. I'm telling you, dog, work. If your kid got some talent, start working with them now. At worst, if they don't make it, the mentality that they will grow from you going about this will make them successful in life. You know how I know? I literally use everything that I learned from the football field in the business world. And I don't want to hear, and I've heard, and the people that I've seen do well, I don't see them bitching about, oh, he's just a kid, he needs this, man. Fuck that. The last thing they need is to play the video game with their friends 1 more hour. They can sacrifice that 3 to 5%. Just remember that. That is 4 to 6 hours a week. Commit 4 to 6 hours out of the week. What is it? What's the number? Is 104? Is 140? How many hours is in it? It's 168 or some shit like that. What is it? Is it 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week? 168 hours in a week. It's 168 hours in a week. If you want your kid to be successful, if you want to be successful in something else, to grow something else, commit 6 to 8 hours. And I'll tell you when most of those 6 to 8 hours are, you don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. keep the same 6 to 8 hours thought process. Go train, go do something, or just break it down an extra hour a day. So that's all, man. That's really all I gotta say about those things. But like I'm like, kudos to you, Ken, for asking questions and putting your son out there and trying to broadcast. You are your child's PR team, because at the end of the day, I get paid $1,440 funky ass dollars to coach high school football. It is not my job or any high school coach's job to get your kid recruited. That's your job. If your kid was just a regular academic kid, it would be your job to get your kid into college. The good one, it's not the guidance counselor's job. The good ones do, though. The good coaches do get your kid in college. The good guidance counselors do, but it's your job as a parent to do that shit. Now, if you want to take that, cut it up, send it to people, feel free. Free game by big game. But outside of that, man, appreciate you guys chopping up with me. Appreciate most of the guys on the Twitter. Need y'all to come over here to the YouTube, jam the subscribe button, like it. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We are about 250 short from getting to 7,000. Once we get to the 7,000 mark, we will give away $500 on Big Games BS. We will also give away $200 to a greenie. A greenie is somebody who is a member. That membership is $3.99 all the way up to $99.99. With the membership, it has its perks. You can ask, you get those are the people who I give the hotel hookups to. Those are the people who you can participate in the pigskin pick'em or the college football pick'em, where you can win $50 each week for beating me or the rest of the crew in your picks. And we got a bunch of other stuff that goes on to members. If you're an all-in member and you're an all-in member for over a year, it's the Super Bowl, you get to do all the stuff I do in the Super Bowl. Heck, we done even figured out how to get you on Radio Row now. So like, it's all kinds of stuff we could do with the Super Bowl. It's in San Francisco this year. You get there, I'll help out. And then Indianapolis at the Combine, you can go experience some things in a different manner than what other people experience it. Outside of that, appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me. We will see you next time.